Hey everyone, it's Sharronda from Pair Waits, and welcome to our Lovecraft Country live after show where we will be breaking down episode 6. Meet me at Daegu. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but let me introduce my lovely co-host. Okay, she is our favorite older sibling shade thrower, KB. Welcome back. Hey boo.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
Can't lie, we both don't feel good, but
Right.
we
But
gonna feel good for y'all.
we gotta make it work.
We're gonna push through just for you guys, all right? But just know on the inside, we're in pain. But it's okay. So, I just wanted to give them like the real. But I do want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us tonight. I know it's a busy night with Lovecraft and the Emmys are going on right now. So I appreciate those of you who have come to chat with us to break down episode 6. Make sure that you're throwing your comments in the chat. I'll try to make sure to get to most of them. If you want to super chat, make sure I see it. I promise I will give you priority. But yes, Kay, tell me how you feel about episode 6. What are your first reactions?
Okay. So this episode for me was a little bit slower in terms of us getting to our main goal of what the true plot line holds. I will say, I did appreciate the backstory and the context because I do feel like, a lot of Tick's violence, it doesn't always necessarily come from his relationship with his father or his family, but it can come from other areas of his life, and that is exactly what we see about his time in South Korea. So it gives some additional context into the person he used to be, the person, like war Tick, and then also kind of the Tick that we know in present day. So yeah, I will say I definitely feel like Jamie killed in this episode. I think she just was fantastic. The layers, as everything was unfolding in her story, I was just like, okay, girl, give us acting. So it was good to see her kind of in this regard and in this light, and even get a glimpse into their love story and what that means for the future going forward.
Yes. April says that this show got her nerve shot. Yes, it has her nerve shot as well, okay? And then KB, the purple hair.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Vanessa says that it was slower paced but good. I do think that this was a slower paced episode. What I will say is one of the things that I really do appreciate about tonight's episode is really the deeper look at a daughter's relationship with her mother. Because I don't know if that's necessarily something that we always get the chance to talk about. Or as daughters, I fight with my mom all the time about her expectations versus reality, and really just letting me live my own life, okay? Because it's not your life, it's my life. I wasn't brought on this earth to right the wrongs of your life. I just wanted to live my life and make my own decisions. And that's something that we really do see with Gia's character. And I find it even more fascinating for this episode that they really link what she's going through to Judy Garland, who is actually one of her favorite actresses. We see that the episode opens up and she's watching, I think it was the trolley song from Mimi in St. Louis. St. Louis, stand up. Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry. I had a moment there. My apologies, but it just came out. But I wanted to, I guess first we need to explain like who Gia is. So we've had everyone's had their little conspiracy theories as to who she is or what she is, and really what does her role play into Lovecraft Country, and more specifically with Atticus's storyline. And so we do know that her backstory comes from, it's a Korean legend about a fox who can shapeshift or take the form of a beautiful woman. And as she said in the episode, to avenge the wrongs that have been done by women. I guess, what was your reaction when you finally realized who Gia was?
I knew that there was going to be a deeper story and a deeper layer to Gia. I knew that everything wasn't what it seemed. However, where I went wrong when watching this episode is initially I thought that, kind of this possession, I guess I'll call it, like, like her actual true form, I thought came from some interaction that happened with her best friend, not from her mom. So that's where I went wrong. I felt like that was like a plot twist for me because, having the mom just know this is who she is and actually be the one who summoned the Kamiho because of the wrongs done against her daughter. I was like, oh, that's a plot twist because really like the way it was framed, in my personal opinion, was that like her best friend had a couple of wrongs done to her. And then, obviously she's a rebel and spy. And so I thought it was going to tie more into that aspect, less about the mother-daughter relationship. But, it is just wild to me that her mom thought to summon the Kamiho, just kind of based on what happened. And then as we find out just kind of later on in the episode, why that man chose her mother as his wife, because he knew that she felt so much shame about having a child out of wedlock that he would allow, that she would allow him to do anything. And that included sexually abusing her daughter. So I was like, yeah, the layers.
Yeah, so Carlos asks, was Gia possessed by the Kumiho, or was she the Kumiho? So she is the Kumiho. So as we see in the scene, Uma, her mother, you have to pay a sacrifice in order to be able to summon the Kumiho. And so her sacrifice was sacrificing her daughter's body, which is so multi-layered because in order for her mother to hide her shame of not having a man over the household, she sacrificed her daughter's body because she knew this man, she eventually realized this man was a predator. And the reason that he married her was to sexually abuse her daughter. And he did this night after night. And the mother allowed it. She allowed the abuse of her child in order to satisfy her standing in society, right? In order to remove the shame or the dishonor from her household, she allowed her body, her daughter's body, to be abused, which is interesting because it's not, so then she sacrifices her daughter's body again in her mind, telling her that this is the revenge that I'm going to get for what my husband has done to my daughter, right?
Ultimately, it's not worth it. Like, you've already sacrificed your daughter so many times. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, was the price worth it?
Right. And so now I'm assuming now she's finding out that it isn't. But one of the things that's so crazy is she's still doing the exact same thing to her, right? She's emotionally manipulating Gia, telling her that by killing these men, by giving her body to these men in order to be able to take their souls, that this is somehow bringing honor back to their family, which is crazy to me because it's just like, so you're just going to continue this cycle of abuse over and over again. And it's almost as she's exactly what Sherms is saying. She is just exactly like her husband. She's doing the exact same thing her husband did, but because she thinks that she's doing it in her mind to avenge her daughter, she thinks that makes her some type of, I guess, mom of the year at this point, but obviously she isn't. And so do you think that that's why her and Atticus have such a strong bond, because they both have been abused by their parents? Atticus abused by his father, and Gia abused by, in this form is the Kamiho Gia, by her mother. What do you think, Kay?
So for me, I'm going to be honest. I think that their intense emotional bond comes from a magical side of things. And not that they realize it yet, because, like, she is the Kamiho. She knows that she's a Kamiho, but Atticus doesn't find out until literally the last 3 minutes of the show. And then Atticus doesn't know his true lineage or parentage as it comes from, like a magical side of things, which means she doesn't either. But I think, honestly, what draws them together is cosmic. I think that is actually like their main draw, whether they realize it or not. And then I think from a human perspective, because remember, you have to remember, technically she is not human. And that's what she struggles with all episode, is being able to live in some sort of humanity. And Tick really brings certain aspects of humanity out in her because of his love and his treatment of her. How he really does try to honor her in the things that he does for her.
So too, she brings out the humanity.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. I think ultimately, I think it probably subconsciously has something to do with the abuse, but they never talk about it. Do you know what I mean? They don't actually get to the layers of the abuse that they endure. They do have a trauma bond, which is very clear and something that they do discuss very early on. And a lot of that trauma is rooted in the heinous crimes that they have committed against people. But yeah, I think it's kind of cosmic. Like, I do think it's kind of otherworldly that really brings them together. And obviously that trauma bond, which is not a good thing. Like, y'all should not be rooted in trauma and think that this is the basis for a great relationship. And I'm not even gonna lie, the moment that Tick left her, I thought she was gonna try to kill him, just because she was so upset with how he received her after he had said, it's nothing that you can't tell me, it's nothing that you can't do, all men say that. And then all of a sudden she come out, the true self is revealed, and like, who honey is a fox, and he like, oh child, I gotta go, like, whoo, no. And she's like, let me just talk to you, and he like, oh no.
He said, take the F away from me.
Right.
He ran out naked in the winter. Okay, that's how shook he was. He ran out butt naked in the winter. Okay, we don't like the cold.
I mean, to be fair, it is traumatizing though. Like, truly, if somebody had, because it wasn't just like the tails were coming out of her vagina, which would still be traumatic. But I mean, the tails are like coming out her eyes and her ears. Honey, I mean, he like, what? And then they blinded him. Like, truly, he was like, I gotta go. You done blinded me. Now you telling me I'm gonna die. Now, like, what is happening, girl?
But I guess I think it's interesting that you said they bring out the humanity in each other, right? And when she tells him, when she goes to talk to him kind of after everything has happened, and she tells him that we can choose to be better, right? Like, I like that she tells him, because we always see Tick reading these books, and we see that they first bond. He gives her the Count of Monte Cristo. That she tells him that he can't keep trying to escape life from a book. Like, you can't escape the violence, the trauma that you've been through. You cannot use fantasy to really take yourself out of the trauma that you've experienced. Like, you have to deal with it, and you have to move on and choose to be a better person. You have to choose to rise above everything that, everything that has happened to him. So I find that interesting, because now we see him on that journey at this point of trying to do better. He's on a rocky road at this point, but he's trying at least. But I do have a question. Who was the person? So we saw when she had the tails, we saw him with his mother Dora, who Kay still thinks is alive. And
She's alive, y'all. Like, please, everybody knows she's alive. We haven't seen him go to a grave. He doesn't have any photos of her. If this was supposed to be the most important person in his life and his best friend, why is it that he does not speak of her? Like, honestly, she's alive, okay? And we have not seen a body.
Okay. I'm gonna let you get it, boo. Okay? I'm with you. You've convinced me. Okay? 6 episodes, you've convinced me, all right? But who was he in the bed with? Who was
I don't know. So I liked those visions, because also, remember, this is the first time as a Kumiho that she's had this type of power where she saw the future. With everyone else, she saw them in their past lives, but she never saw their future. And with Atticus, she saw a wide range of things within that future. So if the timeline is correct in my mind, where are we now? It's about 5 years from the time that he's there to present day, I believe. Because I believe when we first meet him, it's 1950. So the fact that she sees 5 years into the future is interesting to me. And I think that has something to do with a cosmic bond that they do have. But so we see Atticus and Dora. We see Atticus reading instead of going to bed, which honestly, he's me, because I used to do that all the time. Then we see Atticus getting a whooping. Then we saw Atticus extracting the tooth from her best friend.
Yep.
Then we saw him in bed with that woman, which I believe that woman is someone in Florida, because remember, Atticus came to Chicago from Florida. So I think it's a woman in Florida. I am not entirely sure if she is going to have anything to do with anything, but I think it's from his Florida time. Then we see him, catch the bus to Chicago. Then we see him getting baptized. Then we just see Letty's face, and then we see him dying, allegedly. So, I don't know.
I just don't feel like they would show us a random woman in bed with him just for
no.
Like, I feel like everything is always connected. I feel as though they're always very intentional with the visuals that we see. So there has to be a purpose of why they showed him in bed with this woman that we don't know who she is yet, right? So, I don't know.
But you know what? It's funny that you say that, because that's exactly why I feel like Dora is alive. Because they're so intentional with what they show, and they haven't shown anything about her. Like, why wouldn't the first place he go is to the gravesite to honor his mom when he gets back to Chicago? Why wouldn't that be the first place? Why doesn't he have photos of her? Like, why? I mean, honestly, like, I'm like, oh, you guys are basically saying nothing. So you know what? Truly, this could be, and I see in the comments, y'all, I love that y'all stand my baby mama principle, because there will be a child at the end of this. They were like, maybe she's the baby mama. So my theory about Jiha being the baby mom might not work out, since she's a Kamiho, and I don't know reproductively if that's possible. So only because I'm not sure, not because I don't think he could have a baby in South Korea, but I'm like, reproductively, I don't know what the Kamiho can do. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they can carry, children. I'm not sure. So we'll see. But honey, maybe that woman in Florida is a baby. Maybe she's another prominent historical Black figure that ties into it. So I don't know.
Okay, theories. All right. So one of the things that I do want to talk about is really the correlation between Jiha and Judy Garland, because a lot of this is, Jiha is trying to find her own way, but she's also trying to please her mother at the same time. However, her mother has allowed these horrible things to be done to her. And I find it interesting that they kind of relate the two. And I don't know if a lot of people knows a lot about Judy Garland, who really had a very traumatic past in her rise in Hollywood. She was, sexually assaulted by studio heads, like the first Harvey Weinstein of the studios. She was sexually harassed. Her mother let these things happen to her. She had a drug addiction. They put her on these pills, wouldn't let her eat while she was filming. She had a very, very tough time. And I find it interesting that they use the audio from her really talking about her life, talking not only about the abuse that happened to her, but the abuse of the press, right? A lot of people in the press were hard on her, not necessarily understanding everything that she's been through. We recognize her for her talent, but sometimes we forget about everything that was happening behind the scenes for this like great figure of Judy Garland. So, Kay, I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just feel like everything is intentional, and obviously there's a reason why the Kamiho or Jiha at this point is kind of fuzzy who's taking the lead. But there's a reason why I think, she feels connected to Judy Garland, because, their lives mirror each other. I mean, being assaulted by a parent figure, because technically, she did call that man her father, even though he wasn't biologically her father, but still, kind of being sexually manipulated by someone in that regard, and then having your actual biological parent allow those kind of acts to happen for their own personal gain is traumatic. And so, I feel like there's a lot of healing to be done. And it's interesting that, the priestess, I'm going to call her the priestess because I don't remember what they called her in the episode, but it's interesting.
I'm going to say it wrong anyway. Just go ahead.
Yeah, so it's interesting that the priestess said that it would take 100 bodies, like I'm more curious as to why 100 bodies, like why it takes 100 souls for her to get her soul back. Well, I know.
That's a legend, but I was confused at the end because she told her that you'll see countless deaths before your journey is done. Now,
right, that's why
she is the one who is causing these deaths, but she still told her that she truly hasn't connected to the darkness that's inside of her. So almost as if she hasn't fully become the Kamiho.
Yeah, but that's why I'm curious as to why it's 100. Because for me, I feel like every single thing truly represents something. And remember, her mom, when they went back to the priestess, said, I'm willing to take, whatever the sacrifice is, I'm willing to do. And I was like, well, obviously, the sacrifice is going to be your life, girl. I do think that her mom will end up dying at some point, whether we see it or not. I do think her mom is going to be the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. But yeah, so I just think that I think her mom will also be the ultimate sacrifice out of guilt, because she does feel really bad for, like actually being like, oh yeah, I can let these things happen, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think that'll happen. But they're asking you if the Kamiho is part of the book. You read the book, I didn't.
I did read the book, but child, that book's so far behind in my mind. Child, I don't even know.
Okay. Because I was like, I don't know.
I'm gonna call Robert and ask him if he answers phone. But yeah, I mean, I think it's so important that they continuously, if you think about it, all of our characters have dealt with trauma and trauma with their parents, right? And them trying to, like, you hear her tell, like, because she doesn't know what love is. She is this person who takes lives, she takes souls. So she has no understanding of love. She really just understands death and trauma, right? The trauma that she brings upon her victims before she kills them. And the trauma also, too, that she's experienced with what she saw with her best friend, who I felt like her best friend was feeling her. And
No, I think her best friend was romantically, like, I think that she was in love with her. I think that her best friend was trying to navigate those feelings as well. Because obviously, I feel like in society at that time that would not have been accepted. And especially because her mom kept pushing that unrealistic goal. Like, girl, go out today and bring home a man. Wait, girl, what? Like, go today?
Like, today? Go and bring them home?
Yes. And she was like, you need to go find a man, you need to bring him home. That whole speed dating situation was wild to me too. But because it wasn't,
I've been speed dating this.
No, but it wasn't like traditional speed dating. It was like, come home with me today. Select yes on this card and come home with me today. Like, okay, meet my family. It was like, whoa, this escalated. But yes, yeah, I definitely think I agree. I think her best friend was in love with her. But I don't think that they got a chance to explore that.
She had feelings for her as well, but she also had this duty to her mother. Right. And I like what her friend tells her, like, sometimes her friend told her, like, sometimes mothers want what's best for them and not their daughters, right? And I think that's something that everyone can relate to. I feel like I have a conversation with my mother every week. She was like, I just really hope you find somebody. I just worry about you. And I hope that you find someone so I don't have to worry about you no more. And it's just like, but ma'am, like, why can't you just be happy for me that I'm secure and being by myself? Like, let's stop the
and thriving. And you're thriving, like.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think I love that we have all these intricate layers to it. And that all these people that are connected have all suffered some type of trauma from their parents. And we see people like George who really embrace, Diana, like doing her comics and doing what she wants to do. But then we see people like Montrose who really can't break that generational curse. It's like it's been ingrained in him so much at this point that he has just spread the hatred down to Atticus, who you can see, like, almost when they had a conversation about volunteering for the war, that it was just like, well, is this war overseas or is this war right here with my father? Like, which one do you think I'm going to choose? I'd rather go and fight for a country that doesn't care about me, doesn't love me back. So I thought that was very interesting as well. The fact that we keep seeing how hurt people and how hurt people still find each other through the hurt. Like all these people are bonded because of some traumatic past that they have. Why are y'all saying co? Oh, y'all.
I don't know. Right here, I think. Well, this was in the past, so but I do feel like, that's one of the elements of the show that I appreciate, is that it is very realistic. I mean, there is no family in the world that doesn't have some sort of generational trauma that needs to be addressed. And, this is realistic in the sense that ultimately this show delves into the supernatural. It delves into folklore, it delves into a lot of different genres, but at the heart of it, it is truly a family drama. And that's something that we can't escape. And that's something that we can't escape in any capacity. And so, I think about even with Letty, her mom was really only concerned with doing what she wanted to do. She wasn't really that concerned with her kids. I mean, she put them in church and she kept them there. But also, at the end of the day, if she wanted to leave and go be with a dude, that's what her mom did, So like even just Letty having to grow up too soon and look after herself when her siblings were gone, in that regard, is still traumatic for her. So I'm like, the trauma goes really, really deep on this show. But I appreciate, hopefully, that it's all going to pay off in the end, in the sense that like we're going to get some resolution, we're going to get some resolve, we're going to find out more about how these characters can combat their trauma and move forward to a brighter legacy for those babies that are coming. Okay?
Baby child. We got 3 babies now. We got Letty, the lady in Florida, and we got G.I. because, we just...
but at least I put my disclaimer on G.I. saying, okay, she's a Camino. I don't know if, physically that's possible. She saw the fox at the end, honey, and was looking at the fox dead in the eyes like, so I don't know if it's possible or not. But, we could be up to 3. Okay. We could be up to 3.
We're at 3 at this point. But I do think that it's very important. Before I get into my objectification segment of the show, I do want to point out that I think that, is it just me or did Atticus really look innocent? Like, I think they did a really great job of making him seem so much younger, so much more vulnerable as we see him in the past, like from his haircut. Like even when he first walked up, I was just like, look at little young Atticus. He's still fine though, but look at little young Atticus.
I don't know. I didn't really see those, like the youthful aspects.
I did.
I felt like I understood that he was inexperienced, like in a lot of ways. And then I got the army kind of like, the army feel. I don't know. To me, he was more of like a countryman when we saw him. You know what I mean? Like he was.
But I think that's his innocence, right? He hasn't been tainted by all of these crazy things that have happened outside of, his relationship with his father. But I thought it was really cute when he did the movie for, if you guys noticed, that was the same movie that was supposed to be playing when we saw the U.S. troops come in, which annoyed the hell out of me because they were like, we're here to save you.
And that's the one that she mentioned to him that she wanted to see. And because, everything had happened with the war, she wasn't sure when or if she was going to be able to see it. I thought that was really thoughtful. It did make me laugh, though, just a little bit when she went to the base and, his friend is trying to play it off and, so she's surprised. And she was like, does he think I'm a woman of comfort? Like, because I'm not, like, I was thinking to myself, like, girl, y'all would have been had that understanding, I think, well before now, if he thought that you were a woman of comfort.
Well, no, he wasn't doing that to her because he was like, because of the spy.
No. But she said, she was like, does Atticus think I'm a woman of comfort? And I was like, girl, you and Atticus would have discussed that well before. I mean, you are his nurse, but also if you were also a woman of comfort on the side, I think y'all would have already kind of established that, like, girl, no, he likes you. Because she was like, does he have the wrong impression of me? I'm like, no.
Yeah, so I mean, look, man, take note, okay? My man's had a whole film, okay, reached out to his uncle, rest in peace, Uncle George, and had him bring the movie, okay, created a private theater for her, a private one, okay, just them front row seats, best seats in the entire house. That's what my man's did. That's what he did. But it's time, okay, because y'all, when I say Tick was getting up in there, okay, he got up in there. He got more than a couple of pumps. We let the first one slide because we know the first time the anticipation has been building since the beginning of time. He was a virgin, okay, and she took, but she gently took. She was very gentle about it. I felt very gentle about this entire scene, but as they zoom, okay, they panned all over from his face to the muscles, the abs, the biceps, and the triceps. Okay, I got some glutes up in there as well, even though he was freaked out at the same dang on time. But my man's put it down. But not only did he put it down, but he showed us what that mouth, how that mouth can provide moisturizing for your soul, okay? He showed us what that mouth do. Now, I do want to take a little bit of time and be like, Atticus, I need you to give that same moisturizing talent that you gave G.I. I haven't seen that with Letty, boo-boo. I haven't seen that with Letty. I hope that we get to see that in the future. We have 4 more episodes to go. But I just want to thank them for always finding some type of way to put Atticus in a wife beater. I actually wanted to go find a wife beater and wear it for tonight's live show because I've never felt so blessed and fulfilled by a wife beater the way that I have in Lovecraft country. So I just wanted to take the time for that. I just wanted to say thank you for my blessings because we are blessed and we are highly favored tonight.
So wild.
Multiple scenes, okay? Not 1, not 2, multiple sex scenes. I'm sorry, I'm done. Okay, what are your thoughts?
Wild.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, that's your wild. That's my thought.
Okay, that's true.
Like, girl, like, you are used to this at this point, honey. Like,
it's like I'm seeing it for the first time every week, every Sunday.
Every week, I'm like, girl, we know how sex works and we know what he do. Like, let's move on. Like, truly. I do think the switch up, I will say, I do think the switch up from, like, you know, initially us seeing Tick take Letty's virginity.
But he didn't know
what that was and how different that was. And then to his vulnerability and telling the Kamiho or Jiha and telling her, like, actually, I'm a virgin. And then she really switched it up. Like, oh, like at first I felt like she thought he was lying because she was like, what? And then she was like, oh no, you're actually serious.
Like you, just so pure, okay?
Yeah, and then she was like, oh, you're serious. Okay, well then this changes things. And so just seeing the differences in those 2 experiences, I will say was interesting for me. But, you know, like, I mean, I will never lie. Like, you know, Jonathan Majors has a fantastic body. He truly is working hard on maintaining this body. And, you know, bless him, but, you know, I am not at the level of objectification that Sharronda is. I mostly am just like,
I am celebrating him.
He does, yeah. I mean, he does have a lot
of hard work.
But you said it's objectification, so I'm going to say I'm not at the level. No.
Okay. But
his body is bomb though. Like, I mean, I would be blind. I would, you know, like, clearly I can see that. You know, I would have to be blind not to notice that. And I don't mean that in an offensive way to the blind community, but I literally, like, I cannot unsee the fact that his body is banging. But, you know, I'm also like, okay, boo, let's move on with the storyline. You know, I do see somebody here talking about he's slanging that Kang the Conqueror, and he
conquered, baby. He conquered. I truly pray that when we have to interview the cast of Lovecraft Country this week, I pray that he has never seen a live show. I truly pray for this moment. I hope that he doesn't know who I am, and I can continue to be blessed.
that's something we should preface with. Yeah, Sharronda and I are interviewing the cast this week, and I just know that, Jonathan has watched this live video and is going to be like, what? I have already interviewed him previously, so I know I'm not, this will be my second time. Shout out to my Texas brother. But yeah, like, I just know that he's seen this, and I know that you're, I just know it's going to come back full circle.
I'm gonna pray that he hasn't. It's okay, but he hasn't seen this. It's all right. It's okay. I'm just gonna lie to myself, and we'll see what happens when we get on the Zoom chat. We'll see what happens at this point. But I'm trying to think, what else do we need to cover about this?
I feel like mostly this episode was just rooted in the trauma.
Isn't every episode rooted in the trauma?
Yeah, but I feel like this one is different because we're trying to figure out the keys of trauma's past and how it will push forward the storyline in the future, if that makes sense. Like,
what did it look like? Because he was hooked up to a machine. It was like a little blue light. It was like little plugs in him. So I don't know what the heck it was.
I don't know nothing about the future of this show, honey.
Oh, sorry. For you guys that don't know, because I know y'all probably going to ask, I think someone did ask, we have not seen any other episodes. So we are on the same playing field as you guys. We do not have episode 7. We've only watched up to episode 6. So, like, we are just going blind in the dark as you now. I just wanted you guys to know that.
Yeah.
It's an electric chair. He was, like, bent over, though. He was, like, on his stomach.
But, like, well, first off, there have been like several iterations of electric chairs, like as the decades have passed. So this could have been kind of an older one. I don't know what that was, to be honest. I don't also subscribe to the fact that he's going to die necessarily either. I do think that we will have a body count in the finale, but I don't necessarily think that it will be Tick. I do think it's interesting that when the Kamiho goes to speak to the priestess again with her mother, she's mostly concerned about whether or not he will die. So it's interesting to me because what we don't know is what happens in those 5 years in between. We know that Tick is still in communication with her. He knows her phone number by heart. But we don't know kind of what is the path to where they are in their relationship now. Because on that day, she finds out, the priestess was being vague. Will Tick die? Then all of a sudden she's like, you will see lots of death. Okay, girl, that's not what I asked you.
The question about Atticus, though.
Right. Like, I didn't ask you that. I said, is he going to die? You will see many deaths. Okay, girl.
I said, who? Jihad or Atticus? Who, girl? Like, you didn't give us the tea.
Right. So, like, we didn't get none of the tea. But I am curious to see how their relationship continues to blossom or unfold over the next 5 years, because a lot can happen in 5 years. And what is clear to me is that she truly does love him, because she would not be so invested in his well-being if she didn't. And it's interesting because, remember, Kamihos are not built to love. So, yeah, I'm like,
he hasn't tapped into the darkness of the Kamiho either.
Right. And who says that, she will not be instrumental in Tick's death? No one said that she wouldn't be. We don't know what that's going to look like either. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comment section. Did you see next week's episode preview? Because we can't see next week's episode preview because he watched the screener, so they don't give that to us. So they're saying that the next episode is going to be about Hippolyta, which I'm excited about because that's the character that I really want to see them delve into a lot more. April said that I'm pretty sure Hippolyta was also in the photo album at the end as an ancestor. Sis can time travel. Okay.
Which photo album? What? Is it in the preview?
I'm sorry, I'm hungry, so I'm going to continue eating my apple pie.
Is it in the preview? The photo album?
Yes, it is. She seems to have time travel.
So it must be. So maybe I need to get on YouTube and watch the trailer for next week's episode so I can figure out, what y'all over here talking about.
I got the exclusive. We don't.
Oh no! Someone said in the visions.
What visions?
The visions that the Camijo had. Remember the visions that the Camijo had of Atticus in the future.
What was Hippolyta in the vision?
They said in a picture frame.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I think that's what's happening. The comments are coming in kind of steadily, so I don't know. Listen, I just feel like, hey y'all, it was a good episode. I don't necessarily think that Tick will die for real. I guess we're gonna find out.
Lunar said maybe the old Tick will die and the new Tick will be reborn. So he does die in a way.
Okay, yeah, that's. I mean,
think it's possible at this point in time.
Child. Well, looks like I need to watch the preview for next week.
Really?
Because y'all are giving me tea.
Y'all be knowing what's up before us. Shoot. In the preview for the next episode, she was in the photo album. Why do I feel like I saw them looking at pictures though in the? Y'all got me confused now. I'm gonna have to go watch this dang on thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it because I truly do not understand.
I think it's just more than just time traveling since she showed the Amazonians versus the Union soldiers. Baby, it seems like it's a whole lot going on. Tell me, can you still see me, Kay, if I switch to?
Oh, you gonna try to do the trailer and play it?
Yeah, can you still see me?
I can see you.
Okay, let me try to search this, you guys.
Yeah, because we need to see.
Because y'all got all the tea. Lovecraft episode 7.
Come on, give us what we want, honey.
Sound like somebody, Mom, you know they gotta say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see, y'all. Let me see if I can do this, okay? Okay, hold up. Share screen. Oh, I need my glasses.
Ma'am, why do you not have your glasses on?
I lost them. I can't find them. They're somewhere lost in my house. Okay.
Not your lost. You need your vision.
Share screen. Okay, let me see. Can y'all see? No. Ooh, okay. Y'all ready?
Okay, Amazon.
HBO, don't be trying to demonetize me for this.
I don't know exactly what it all means, but God, it feels real. Hippolyta knows we lied to her. If she's going where this thing's leading her, she's in danger. I want to know everything. Freedom. Now that I'm tasting it. When I was robbed of. I am Hippolyta.
Okay. Past lives, you know. Current lives, future lives.
Then she was fighting.
Honestly, it's the flappers for me, honey. I'm like, oh.
She said, I'm Hippolyta. I do want to make a note that this is fair use, okay? We're talking about the trailer and breaking this down, okay? Because you know they're going to try to demonetize me. It's okay, though.
Okay. Now, it's interesting to me that what we also saw in that trailer is Ruby spying, which we knew that this was going to happen. We saw Ruby spying on Letty, trying to get some additional information. And it seems to me that Ruby might be working with Christina.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and then talk about you need to tell me everything. Oh, what's going to happen with the siblings? Huh?
Watching me know was a short version of the preview. That's not the whole preview.
It's fine. I'll have to watch it later because I couldn't really watch it on here anyway because it was like it was skipping a little bit.
Oh, my bad. That's probably my horrible internet connection. So said the Ori is a time machine, which I agree. But she's trying to figure out how the gears work. So we'll see.
Okay, Ruby. Ruby's a spy. Oh, we giving Ruby a spy, but on the wrong side. Girl, Harriet Tubman will be so mad at you.
Right, for Trey's little white queen. You hate to see
Harriet Tubman would be like, I know Queen Ruby is not a spy on the wrong side.
Not my Ruby.
Honey, okay. Whew. Well, I can't wait. I love time travel. It is a principle that I adore on TV. Like, I adore time travel. So if they do it right and they do it well, honey, I'm going to live next week. I will have myself a glass of champagne to celebrate the time travel episode. Come on.
I can't drink after tonight, though. Tick talking about he was sure that what he had with G.I. was love. I mean,
you know what? I can actually
don't be acting like y'all don't be head over heels for y'all first. Come on now.
Well, I could actually see why he wasn't sure. Because he was saying, I think he said he wasn't sure what that he had with Jiha was love. He said he knew what he had with Letty was special, but I think maybe he isn't sure about it because it is rooted in trauma. Like it's a traumatic.
I mean, because if that's the last time he saw her, I mean, that's one heck of a way to like.
Yes. But not even that. I mean, like their entire relationship is built on trauma. You killed her best friend. Like, you know, she is out here murdering people.
I kill you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He doesn't think it is love because he was like, well, you only like hung out with me because you're literally trying to kill me the entire time.
Yes, come on, sis. She was trying to avenge her best friend's murder, and quite frankly, I don't blame her. Like,
do you think he would have
she never thought it would be love. But
do you think he would have stayed had the tails not come out? Because he told her like, I don't have to go back home. I can stay.
I do not think he would have stayed because she was very adamant that he didn't, and I think that that's a testament to her being like, I know who I am. I know that eventually this will come out. I know, you know, like this is not going to end well. So I don't think that he would have stayed because I don't think she would have allowed it, if that makes sense. Like, I think she would have forced him to go back home to the States. Now, not necessarily to Chicago because, you know, Chicago holds death, you know, according to the legend, I guess. But yeah, I think she would have forced him to go at least back home to, like, you know, start a new life.
Mr. Austin said, "What I do think her friend was actually the spy because even the conversation that they had after they hung one of the supposed communists, I think that her whole thing was you're trying to kill people because they're different from you, but we can all coexist amongst one another. Like it's really not that big of a deal." And even she brings up that the U.S. soldiers were here to protect us, but they just let them kill someone because it was entertainment for them. So I do think that she was a spy, but I think that's also to a time in the world, not only just over there, but in the U.S., where if you try to accept other people's ideals that didn't fit into what the ideals of the country or nation that you were a part of, they automatically said you were a communist. So even queer people they call communists back then.
Yeah, I mean, because you oppose their system and of belief, system of belief. So yeah, no, I definitely think that, you know, her friend was also the spy, but I also think to that point, I think that her best friend was the spy, but I also think her best friend would have said anything to avoid her dying. Like I think she would have sacrificed her life for her regardless.
So do you think the tails came out when she was having sex with Tick because she was relaxed and let her guard down? Yeah, I think that's when she realized, like, no, like I'm really, really in love with him. And with this prospect of him asking her to come with him or like what he should do, should he stay here? Does she want to come with him? I think she definitely did let her tails out. They said the tails came out. I mean, she wasn't having no orgasms. They've been having sex since the summer to the winter. She ain't had no orgasms. Tick one putting it down like that.
I think that, you know, when she's in control, because you can see like when they have sex for the very first time, she's like actively thinking about kind of controlling the situation, if that makes sense. Like while they're having sex, she's still very much in control because she doesn't want the tails to come out. So yeah, I think that like she got to a point that day where she finally felt a new level of freedom that she had not felt previously before in her life. I think she felt free and she felt relaxed and she felt calm and she felt loved and she felt secure. And I think that that security is the reason why the tails came out, because, you know, it was just like you can fully be yourself. I think that's what, you know, kind of happened in that.
Yeah, but I also like that for the first time that they do have sex, she's very much in control. Like, you know, she's on top. She is controlling like this entire situation. In order to make sure that, you know, there's no slip ups with the tails or anything like that. We had a super chat. Yes, we talked about this, that her bestie was in love with her. And I think that she had feelings for her bestie as well. But I mean, before she could explore anything, she was unfortunately killed. And that whole scene was crazy for me. I was just like, I guess I was more shocked to see the Black soldiers doing that. I think that's what really shocked me. And especially when Atticus just pops up and just pulls the gun, like, boom. I was just like, wow, like, so this is the violence you were talking about.
So, you know, I feel like a lot of history is lost in a lot of ways. But that is the reality of the situation at war, correct? Like, even if you were a Black soldier, you know, you were there to do a job. If that job meant killing innocent, you know, Asian lives or taking innocent Asian lives, that's what the job entailed. And so they still did it. So it's an interesting dichotomy of, you know, fighting for a country that literally sees you as less than. And the things that you absolutely have to do when you go overseas are the exact same things being done to you and your community when you're at home. So just even having that type of like mental, because you could see Tick really struggling with that mentally, the fact of like, I have to go into these places, and because this is war and because I'm a soldier and I'm supposed to be doing what I'm told, I'm going into these places and I'm doing the exact same things to the oppressed in this particular country that they're doing to me, you know, in my home country. So, but
not even that, the fact that it's almost like you feel this sense of need to prove yourself, to prove that you're
your work, though. It's to prove your work,
right? So, no, yeah, I definitely agree about that. We had a super chat from Danielle. She felt relaxed after she did tell him the story of the Kumiho. She did.
Also, Tick was listening to that story like he didn't believe it. I mean, honestly, like it wasn't like she knew that she was revealing a part of herself. But Tick was just listening like, oh, that's a neat story. So anyway, girl, I can go back now and you can come with me. I can stay here. We can, like, what are we gonna do? Honestly, he was not even thinking about that story, honey. Like, truly.
Come on now, he loved his stories.
But he wasn't thinking about it in that moment. He was thinking about the fact that, listen, they told me I can go home, so what are we gonna do? Like,
Ebony said Tick did shoot. Tick shot the girl that was next to Gia.
Yeah, and then, you know, he extracted Gia's best friend's tooth. But yeah, he definitely shot. I mean, as soon as the command said shoot, he shot her. So
Blair Waldorf. Okay, Gossip Girl fan. Yeah, these shows really get their viewing for Black women, and I'm just tired of getting invested in these narratives they create, and then Black women end up being used and discarded.
Well, it doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen here.
Technically, Letty was used and discarded because they shot
Letty died.
They killed Letty to make Atticus do something, and they did technically use Ruby to get her to do something.
Discarded. Now, she has not been discarded, though.
She hasn't. I mean, but technically,
they are using her, you know,
like she had feelings for William. But she had felt feelings for William, and that was taken away from her. Like, you know, basically she created this other person to get her to do her bidding. Like,
well,
Christina
did she though?
get her to do her bidding.
Did she? Because last night I was on Movie Files channel, had a really great time there. But we were chatting about, Movie Files subscribers think that William is still alive and is in the basement that is locked. And I was like, well, I can't say that he's not, to be honest. So, like, and I can't say, we technically cannot say that it wasn't William who actually picked Ruby up in the bar. Like, we can't say that. There's some sort of dichotomy. We don't know anything, or we feel like we're being tricked because of the potion, but we can't 100% say when it has been Christina and when it has been William, especially if we find out that William is still alive. We cannot say that. So, I mean, technically we don't know. And also, this potion presents a problem. Because who really is in it? Who is really a sheep in wolf's clothing? Because technically, if we got potions, then there's a lot of people who could be pretending to be someone that they're actually not. A whole lot. And you know who might still be alive? Fitz. Oh.
That raggedy man is not alive, okay?
You don't know that. You don't know that because potions, he dabbled in the magic, honey. So you don't know. You don't know.
Okay. I know I saw that whole building collapse on him, but okay. I didn't see no ancestors going to save him.
But what I'm saying is he could have taken a potion and he could be someone else. So that person could have died. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Denise wants to know, do you think Tick being her first black man curse caused her to fall in love with him? I don't think it's because he was black. No. I think he was
just because he truly loved her. You know what I mean? Like, he was genuinely interested in her. I think it was the first man that cared about her.
Oh, they let you know that Fitz was dusted, okay?
Listen, I'm not saying that body was not dusted. I'm saying because we have potions, who's to say that it was actually Fitz that died? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Kate just want to bring everybody back from the dead. Like,
George is definitely dead. Like, I feel like George is dead. But what I'm saying is because Fitz dabbles in magic, he could have body swapped with someone else. That's all I'm saying.
You're confused on what? Okay, Fitz is Samuel, right? Christina's dad, but we call him Fitz because Tony, the man who plays him, played Fitz on Scandal. That's why we call him Fitz. Because that
my bad.
On Scandal. Sorry. So you confusing everybody with your theories and bringing people back from the dead.
I can't remember his name on this show. I can only call him Fitz. So I'm so sorry. I will not commit Samuel to memory. So my bad.
Just disrespectful. What other questions do you guys have?
George is dead because I think someone has that question. Where is George? George is
in the upper room in heaven, and he's not coming back.
Yeah, I think George is actually dead.
Yes. We don't know the story of who trapped in the closet.
No, we do not, honey, but I do need to know who that man is in the closet.
They said, what's his real name? His name is Fitz. It will always.
Thank you. Like, I'm not, his name is Fitz. I'm not committing anything else to memory. So sorry, Fitz, it is.
Thank you for realizing my life callback. Okay. Thank you. Y'all think Tree is spot? Where did Shrub come from? We don't call him Tree, we call him Shrub. Where Shrub come from? Why y'all think Shrub is spot?
He might be a spy. Honestly, Tree might be more integral than we think he is. Because right now, we just hate him because he's outing people. He's lying about sexual relations with individuals. But that might be for a purpose. I mean.
Also, too, Anitra is actually correct. Fitz is always, I don't know always, because we call him Fitz now. But for those of you who remember the movie Ghost, he was a terrible villain. So, yes.
Oh, talking about how
they said That girl said he not a spy, he just dumb. And I agree.
Honestly, though, truly, I'm not even mad at you.
I'm just saying. So, Shrub was just being messy. So, that is correct. Shrub needs to go his own business, so he might have a storyline, okay? I'm just saying.
Baby, I'm fine if I never see him again.
Who coming from my man, though?
It's a Texas thing. Texas, stay up. Because nobody supports a Texan like another Texan. That's for sure.
Are you going to tell him that when you talk to him this week?
Child, I mean, listen, two things are true. A Texan will always support another Texan.
Okay.
First. Now, the second thing that is also true is Houstonians do not like people from Dallas and vice versa. Now, he is from Dallas. I am from Houston. But we put all of that to the side because we are Texans first. So, that's key.
Okay. We'll see what happens. I guess next week. I forgot when our interview is.
It's on Sunday.
It's on a Sunday?
It's on Sunday.
MCJ said, tell my, who your husband?
Not with the face stuff.
You talking about Montrose?
Not Montrose.
Who your husband? I'm just saying.
Not Montrose, though.
I mean, I guess we can try. I got Sister Wives with Chris. We can have Sister Wives with Jonathan, too. So does anyone else have any more questions before we wrap things up? We have hit an hour. Beach, we gonna finish at an hour. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Because we gotta figure out our lives for the week, honey. So
yes. So I guess if no one else has any more questions, I don't even know what I'm gonna ask. I feel like at this point I have to ask Jonathan a question, but I really just don't even want to talk to him because I don't feel comfortable since I left after him.
Now you don't feel comfortable. Someone in here said something that really spoke to my spirit. They said, Sharronda, keep that same energy in the interview. Keep the energy from in here in the interview. And, I stand that person. Whoever said that to Sharronda, I stand. Yeah, truly. Someone did have a question.
April?
Predictions.
Oh, tell Tick I'll never snitch on you, Dad. Oh, so y'all really trying to come for my man? Wow.
Somehow.
Okay.
Listen, so no, the question was, what are our predictions for the rest of the season? Oh.
I'm sorry. I was distracted by people trying to come for my man.
I'm going to let Sharronda take this because we all know what my predictions are. I stand very firm in my
predictions. 3 babies on the way.
I didn't say 3. I said at least 1.
I say there's 3 babies on the way.
We're up to 3 right now. We're up to 3. I'm going to put it in spades terms. I have 1 and 2 possibles.
No, you got to take one of them, but you got to be 2 and 1 possible. Don't be saying possibles and then you end up
1 and 2 possible, and that's where I am. Okay, so
I think that we have 2 and 1 possible. I can see something crazy happening if Atticus does die at the end of the season. I can see them going to claim all his little babies from Korea, from Chicago, and from Florida. And Christina just taking the little babies with them to do all her little experimentations and whatever she wants to do. But I do think that I feel like it would be symbolic for G.I.'s mother to be her 100th soul. We know that G.I. has to come back into the picture somehow. She has to somehow come to the States. But that's just my thoughts on that. I don't know. I do believe that Dora is alive. And I do feel as though at this point, since they mentioned Tulsa so much, that we do need to go back into time and see what happened in Tulsa. But
I mean, there's an entire episode dedicated to Tulsa. It's the 1921 episode that will happen. And I believe
stuff ahead. That's cheating.
I believe that's episode 8 is that Emmett Till one because it's a Jigga Bobo one. So it must be episode 9 that's Tulsa. It's the
I haven't read up on anything, so
no, it's not. I mean, they're based on the titles, so you know.
I haven't read the titles though.
Oh, okay.
I just go
Oh,
online.
I think it's. Hold on, let me look it up. I think it is.
They're gonna end up
Yeah,
together.
it's episode 9. It's episode 9 because it's called Rewind 1921.
I think Ruby and Christina are gonna end up together, and they're gonna run Sons of Adam and change it into something else.
So I don't think, because remember that was my initial prediction in
you think she's gonna choose
in our very first episode. I was saying, ooh, all the women will come together and it will be like a new Sons of Adam, but for women. I no longer think that it will include Christina. I think this will be an all-black version where Dora is at the helm. And I always thought Dora would be involved, but I think for sure it will be Dora. You know, it'll be Ruby, it'll be Letty. I still think that there's something in Letty's father's lineage that is going to come full circle. I still think that that's going to happen.
Okay.
And Dora is Tick's mom. Someone is asking. Dora is Tick's mom.
Dora is Tick's mama that slept with her Uncle George, his Uncle George, who is his real daddy.
Which I also have theories about that too.
About what?
Yeah, so I think, and we talked about this a little bit on Movie Files yesterday, so y'all can go back and watch, but I think that Dora and George were actually a couple before Montrose and Dora. And I think what happened is I think that Dora got pregnant out of wedlock. And I think that, obviously Montrose's father, just was not too keen on his sexuality. And I think that they made some sort of arrangement, between kind of Dora and Montrose. But I do think that I don't think that George is a homewrecker. I think honestly, George was Dora's first love. And so.
Not Adam was a snitch.
Not Adam. Oh, I mean, Adam did tell on Eve.
I mean, he did snitch.
He's the OG snitch, truly the originator. So every
time they talk about Adam and Eve in church, I get so annoyed. I be like, so y'all just gonna put it on Eve. That's what y'all gonna do. Okay.
Now someone said maybe Letty and Christina are siblings. Ooh, plot twist.
No, I told y'all that Samuel Fitz was her daddy. I told you Fitz was her daddy. Letty daddy. Letty don't never talk about her daddy. Letty only ever they dad.
Yeah, but I think it's because she doesn't know who he is. Because we also know that her mom. I personally don't think that that's her dad, but I do think we don't know who her father is because remember, it seems like her mother was a prostitute at some point in time. Remember the way she talks about her mom and all of the men that she had. So I think that we don't know who her daddy is. So, I mean, it's possible that I guess it could be Fitz if, her mama was a prostitute and, what's happening. I mean, if her mom was a sex worker in that, I mean, definitely possible. Because it would be possible that her mom wouldn't, really know who he was either. It just was a situation. But
I guess we're gonna have to find out.
Somebody said Letty's daddy is a cop. Now that would be a better twist.
The raggedy cop that got the black man chest.
Ooh, child. Ooh.
We still gotta figure it out. I don't know, but I think. I mean, are those all? What are those all your predictions?
Yes. Those are all my predictions. So we will just see what happens because honestly, guys, we never know where this story is going. Let's be clear. We predict all of the things in the world, and at the end of the day, we don't know. But someone here says they don't think Letty's dad is Fitz, but they do think Letty's dad is a Sons of Adam. Now?
I mean, I can see that too.
Yeah, it could just be a different Sons of Adam. But I guess we're all on one accord that we do think Letty's father is white.
Definitely. We definitely think
I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody said Sons of Anarchy. Sons of
Oh. But yeah, so those are pretty much our thoughts on tonight's episode. As always, thank you guys for always supporting us and like just watching us. I'm so happy that you appreciate me, flaws and all, even though I objectify Jonathan Majors every single episode. I just want you guys to know how important that is, that you accept me for who I am from the bottom of my heart, okay? I don't know if I will make you guys proud on Sunday. I don't know. I'll let you guys know what happens. I don't think that I'm not saying nothing. I mean, I will make sure to ask Jonathan a question because I feel like at this point I have to ask him a question, but we'll see. I know Kay will be just staring at me, texting me the entire time that we're on this interview, trying to gas me up. So I don't know what will happen. If you guys have anything that you want to say, I actually interviewed Jonathan before, but I wasn't on camera when I interviewed him. So like he ain't gonna know who I am, but we'll see. But yeah. Who you asking? I mean, you have to ask Ruby a question.
Ruby's not joining.
Who's on an interview?
It's Journey, Jonathan, and Misha, I believe, is what the email said.
Oh, that's it? We'll get up.
I think it's just the three of them.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna bring the bottle, Coco. Coco said don't bring the bottle. I'm not gonna bring the bottle. Okay. I might take a couple of swigs of the bottle before. Actually, no, I'm actually starting a diet tomorrow, so I can't drink anymore. So yeah, I won't be having the apple pie, I won't be having the bottle. This is my last day. That's why I had to indulge until, we start our weight loss journey on Monday, tomorrow. So any last thoughts, Kay, for the people?
I'm just laughing because someone in here said, you better flare. And honestly, life is too short not to shoot your shot. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Last thoughts, not really. Just check out our content this week. We're going to be dropping a lot of things. I mean, Sharronda and I definitely did do a little Emily in Paris situation this week. So you got to in our videos, And
he was single now, though.
Huh?
He was taken?
What?
They said supposedly he's single now. When was he taken? I need answers. Okay, can you tell people what your YouTube channel is since she hasn't been telling people? What's your YouTube channel?
Listen, so my YouTube channel is Through the Lens of Lady KB. Listen, if you go to my Twitter or Instagram and just click on my link tree, there'll be a beautiful link right there at the top. Wait, April talking about they broke up last year. I mean, honestly, this escalated. I'm so distracted by these comments because they're so wild. Yes, so if you go to my Instagram or my Twitter, which is at the Lady KB, if you go there, my link tree is in my bio, and baby, my YouTube channel is there. All of my content, my editorial works, my pay or wait reviews. You could just scale the whole thing and get your fill.
I'll make sure I also post her channel in the chat. I'll pin it to the top.
Okay. That we broke up last year, though. But yes, I mean, life is too short not to shoot your shot. I do believe that wholeheartedly. So I'm sorry, ER's grandpa. Listen, thank you for finding it. Talking about I had to hunt it down after Movie Files. Movie Files put the link, though, in the channel for my all my things. Put my link, Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle, for subscribing. Renee said, girl, just go ahead and be honest. Tell him, man, you appreciate his workout routine.
And he gonna know exactly what that means, honey.
We'll see what happens. I'm kind of scared about this because you never know who actually has watched your stuff. So I guess I should probably try to scale back on my objectification commercial breaks during these lives. But I mean, at this point, it is what it is. It's 6 episodes worth now. So I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty sure that he knows at this point.
Yeah, it's okay. Though.
And that's fine. That is fine.
It's fine. So yeah, so
we move forward.
You know, we fall down, but we get back up. Okay? That's what happens.
April said, just say it was William talking, not you.
I'm going to say that. So, yes. You know what? I'm sure he wouldn't even mention it. He seems like, okay, but see, you getting out. Everybody go subscribe. To, actually, Kay, what's your thing?
What? I thought you were going to pin it. Thank you.
What's your, what do you call that? Through the lens?
Yes. Through the lens.
What?
I thought you, of Lady KB. Yeah, I thought you wanted me to, thanks.
I mean, let's just get them to do it now. But
I thought you were going to put it in there.
I know, but I'm just doing it now because I just want people to go follow you right now. Now.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Start posting some content soon.
Oh, dang. It didn't do no link. That's stupid. Okay, fine. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys. Make sure you please go subscribe to Through the Lens of Lady KB on YouTube. Also subscribe to her at the Lady KB on Twitter. Is that the same name for your Instagram?
Yep.
Same for Instagram. Go follow me at Pay or Wait on Twitter, the Gram, the Bird app. I know I said Twitter. Sorry. So yeah, sorry. I think my wine is kicking in because I'm almost done with the bottle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and excuse myself before I say anything else crazy at this point in time. I'm gonna go binge some food and watch some Housewives of Potomac with KB. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. You have 13 minutes left if you're on the East Coast. I hope that you have a great start to the week. I hope that you protect your peace, protect your energy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let your boss, your raggedy coworkers, don't let nobody take your joy away from you, because this week is going to be a great week. I'm going to claim it right now in Jesus' name that I want to lose 5 pounds from this workout routine. I'm going to claim it right now that my husband, Jonathan, is going to know who I am and that we're going to get married and we're going to have babies. I'm going to claim that right now in Jesus' name. Amen. So yes, you guys have a great week. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye everybody.
Bye.